What's up? What's up? Let me know you're in here. What's up, Jens? What's up, Antonio? Hit the follow button if you guys haven't yet. Notifications, because eventually I'll just be starting my live streams here and ending them here. I won't even go live on TikTok. I'll just be doing my live streams here. So hit that follow button. I'll give people another minute or so to roll in. As a matter of fact, if anyone asks where I am, let them know I'm just gonna run and go take a leak quick because I've got a lot more to get into. I can feel it kicking in, preemptive. I'll be right back in like 1 minute. I'm back. All right, let's get started. 33 of you wonderful people on here. Be sure to hit the like button though. I only see one like. Hit that like button and be sure to hit the follow if you haven't yet and turn on notifications so you get notified when I go live. Let's resume the stream here. How do I flip this? There we go. So again, we talked about this earlier. This is the total crypto market cap, okay? These different lines, Bitcoin for 8 years has been trading between this line and this line, okay? With very little deviation. This was COVID, right? If anything's gonna break that line, it's gonna be a total black swan like that. But then you can see it just bottomed. That was the bear market bottom. Next bottom on the way up, a higher low. And now we've come above it and now we hit this line, okay? And so this is a really nice support right now. I don't expect total crypto to ever go below this line again. And if it does, it'll be very brief. But at the moment, right, I see this line, which this goes back to, look at this. This goes back to June 2019, the run out of the bear market bottom into a COVID bottom and then bull market top, okay? So this line, kind of a mid-cycle type of thing. Well, it was really interesting that it connects perfectly to this mid-cycle top. This was last year in March. And then this mid-cycle top, which was in December. Okay, and now we're making our way up. So I expect us to migrate our way up to this. Worst case scenario, I think we're gonna get up here by the end of August. And I'll get into why, which will put us at about 5 trillion, which is a nice increase from here. That's about a 25-30% increase on total crypto. That's pretty good. But I do think by the end of the year, we get somewhere between here, which is about a little over 8 trillion, and 13 trillion. I think we get somewhere between 8 and 13 trillion by the end of the year, based on this trend line. See, we've been this sideways one, that was the true bear market bottom. You see touch, 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 touch. Also comes up and perfectly touches the mid-cycle top, but we've been below it. We've been below that diagonal line since September of 22. 3 years we've been below it, right? So I think we're gonna at least find our way up to that by the end of the year. But if we can go through it, we're gonna come up to this line, which is that top range line, right? 2017 bull market top, 2021 bull market tops, which would put us around 13 trillion, which would put Bitcoin, let me do some math, quick math real quick, and then we can look at the actual Bitcoin chart. But if we get to like say 8.3 trillion, right? Take that times maybe 43, 8 2.3 times 0.43, because I think Bitcoin dominance will go down to about that. That put Bitcoin's market cap at about 3.5. Divide that by 2.4, which is about what it is right now. Take that times 120. That put Bitcoin at minimum 180 if it hits this line right here by the end of the year. But if it hits that one, 13 trillion divided by 3.8 equals that, times 2, no, I don't want to do that. We'll go 13 times 0.43 equals that. 5.5, divide that by 2.4, Bitcoin's current market cap. Take that times current Bitcoin price. Probably wondering, what is this guy doing? That put us more like 280 if we get up here. So how I get to those numbers is what I'm going to dive into next on this stream, okay? You guys down with that? Let's get some likes coming in. I see 2 likes. Let's get that up to 54 of you on here. Let's get that up to like at least 10 likes, right? That's not even 20% of you hitting the like button. So hit the like button, and then I'm going to dive into the other charts to really help to seal the other pieces of the picture to connect more of the dots. We got 3 likes, 4 likes. If you're wondering how to hit the like button, turn the phone sideways, and then it'll pop up and you'll be able to hit the like button. 6 likes. 7. 45 of you on here. We have 7 likes. 8. 2 more. 2 more of you hit the like button, and then we'll continue. 10. There we go. Thank you very much. Hit the follow button if you haven't. Be sure to turn on notifications. So this right here, like I said, is the total crypto market cap. So this is Bitcoin plus Ethereum plus Solana plus everything added together. What's it worth? Currently 3.8 trillion. The trend lines tell me that likely by the end of the year, we end up somewhere between 8 and 13 trillion, okay? But did you realize that there are other charts like this one? This is called Total 3. So this is the entire crypto market cap minus Bitcoin and Ethereum. So it's what everything in crypto is worth if you take out Bitcoin and Ethereum. Again, all of crypto with Bitcoin and Ethereum is worth 3.8 trillion. If you take out Bitcoin and Ethereum, it's worth just over 1 trillion. Now look at this beautiful chart right here, okay? This was the bear market time, right? It's a descending triangle or a wedge, but probably a descending triangle. Maybe it was a wedge. Either way, it was showing that everything was compressing. By the way, this is actually a really good study right here about pattern formations, right? This one goes back from May 22 to October 23. So it's about a 1.5 year period where price is compressing, and it comes into these formations, and it's either gonna break down or bust out. And this one busted out, which was the probabilities. Very interesting how these things line up like this. Breaks out, and then it really freaking goes. And you know what? Ever since here, right, it has been on a breakout in this uptrend in this channel. Isn't this beautiful? Look at this. So this pattern ended right here. See that? Ended right there at the bottom of this channel on that line, and then broke out to go all the way up here. And then came back down to where? Exactly that freaking line. And then came back up to where? Exactly that line. Came down to where? Exactly that freaking line. And now it's on the up. Probabilities suggest that it's gonna come back up here to the top of this line. Right? This pattern's been going on for almost 2 entire years. And again, this is total 3. So this is the whole crypto market cap. If you take out Bitcoin, ETH, it's a much more accurate way to look at the altcoin market. Okay, this is specifically eyeing the altcoin market. Okay, the altcoin market ever since October of 23 almost 2 years now, has been in an uptrend moving in this channel. Put a 1 in the chat if that looks kind of spooky to you in a good way, where you're like, whoa, what are the odds? What are the odds that we go down here, up here, down here perfectly again, up here perfectly, down here perfectly, and now we're on our way up? What are the odds of those prices? Because most people by far think price movement and price action and price targets, etc., are just, and charts are just witchcraft, completely random shit. This clearly shows there is order instead of chaos. Bottom, top, bottom to the fucking line, top to the line, bottom to the line again with a double, and then here we go. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points of contact in this range in this clear up trend. And over here, it clearly broke out of this coiled up pattern, right? Pressure, 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 boom. Cool, 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 pressure, 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 boom. Cool, 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 pressure, 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 boom. Probably. Probabilities heavily lie. Total 3, which is all of crypto minus Bitcoin and Ethereum. So it's more of an altcoin gauge. It is an altcoin gauge. That it likely comes worst case scenario up here. And to me, again, look at this. So why do I think the end of August, early September? Why do I keep saying that I think we're going to come up here to about 1.7 trillion? Why do I keep saying that? Right now we're at 1. That's about a 70% increase from here, right? And from the bottom, which was down here, I mean, that's what is that? About 180, almost a 3x, right? Almost a 3x from there. So why do I lean end of August, early September to come back up here and make its next tap? Well, look at this. Look at this. One thing that I really look at is from down here. Look at this. October. I wish I could had a thing to hold this. Damn it. Because I really need both my hands for this. Let me do this. Let me do this. Hold on. Let me do this. Maybe this will work. Maybe this will work. Maybe you can see. Hopefully you can see. See, from down here, from the bottom to the top, this is the 3-day chart. It was 51 bars, meaning it was 51 periods. So 51 times 3 days, about 150 days from that bottom to that top, okay? So let me get rid of that. Let me go from this bottom. 42 bars from that bottom to that top. That's interesting. So that's about 130 days. And now, let's go from here. Let's go out, average of about somewhere between 42 and 51 bars. So 47 is a pretty decent average between the two, right? Look, where does that put us? End of August. And if it goes to 51 bars, or we'll say 49, puts us in September 1st. And where does that put us up here, right? Puts us at about 1.7 trillion. And we've clearly broken out, okay? Clearly broken out. Now, another thing that we can look at here is that, whoops, it's trying to fall. Another thing we can look at here is, see this? See this little toppy top right here? When we broke above it, how long did it take to get to the top? 8 bars right here, right? So about 3 weeks. When did we break out? We just broke out of here, right here. Let's find 8 bars. 8 bars. Did I get that in the right spot? Let me look. Let's go back to this one, actually. Let's do this. When did it break above? Right here. How long did it take to get to the top? About 8 bars. So let me go to the next one. What about when it broke out? Looks like it was about right here. Looks like it took about 8-9 bars. 8 bars to the top. Interesting. And where did it break out? It broke out about right here. Let me go over 8 bars. Ooh, let me get back on that line a little bit. Where did we break out? Is this one right here? Let me go over 8 bars. 8 bars puts us in early August. So maybe I'm being even later than I think when I look at it that way. Nonetheless, and if that happens, if it were 8 bars, that would put us somewhere around 1.6 trillion. So I expect by some point, I want to be very clear, none of this is guaranteed. None of this is guaranteed. I'm going off chart patterns and looking at probabilities, okay? That's it. So don't go betting the farm on anything. I'm just saying, probabilities favor August being a very good month, and we see, number one, total 3 go to 1.6 to 1.7 trillion, which is about a 60 to 70% increase from here. And total crypto market cap in that same time frame, that would put it, if we line it up, right? Early August would put us at 4.8. Late August, early September would put us at about 5. So somewhere between 4.8 and 5.1 trillion, which would be about a 35% increase from here. This does include Bitcoin and Ethereum. And again, if you see these patterns, see up, down, when we broke above, so much time, right? Broke above, only so much time before you go up to the top. When you break above that stalwart, okay? Now we're gonna go even deeper. Put a 1 if you would like me to go deeper into altcoins, even deeper. I mean, even more of the nasty, dirty, filthy, risky levels of altcoins. Hit the follow button if you haven't yet, and be sure to turn on notifications because I'm going to be doing more live streams from this platform instead of TikTok. See, someone's coming in. I can't call the prices. Gents. Nobody can. All I can do is look here and say where I think price will go to. But I want to be very clear. You gotta take money off the table. Price never goes exactly where you think it's gonna go. It never does. It either overshoots it or undershoots it. It's good to take profits when you make good profits. That's what I'm straight up gonna say to everybody. That's my opinion. Do whatever you want. So I saw some ones come in. Some of you guys want to talk more about the dirty, nasty altcoins. Let's try to get a couple more likes in here. We're at 10. I'd love to get to like unlucky number 13. That would be pretty cool. Let's try to get to 13, lucky number 13 likes, and then we'll dive into that nasty, dirty altcoins. Oh, you're saying you can't read it. Say the prices out loud. Yeah, okay. Okay, gents. I think I have been. Like over and over, but I'll make more of a point of it. When would you take XRP profits? I sold my XRP in November, December. I'm out. I can't give twice. All right, we're at 13. All right, let's flip it around. So this right here is another chart called Others. So this is the total crypto market cap if you exclude the top 10 coins. Again, right here, this is all of crypto. This includes everything, Bitcoin, Ethereum, everything. This one is total 3. It includes all of crypto except for Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? So total crypto is 3.8 trillion. Total 3, so all of crypto minus Bitcoin and ETH is just over 1 trillion. And this one right here is called Others. So this is all of crypto excluding the top 10. So Others is all of crypto from number 11, hyperliquid, down. Everything in crypto is included in the Others chart except for these top 10. So Again, if you're looking at others, which is number 11 and down, that is an even more clear representation of the true altcoin market. And it currently sits at 288 billion with a B. Now, what's interesting about this particular part of the market, which is the true higher risk, higher beta altcoin market, is that it hasn't even made a new high. What do I mean? Look at this, total crypto market cap. The all-time high was back here in November of 21. It got up to, let me move it over one more tick, 3.01 trillion. That was the all-time high set in November of 21. We passed that back here in December. We got up to about 3.6 trillion, and we passed that even a little bit more in the past couple weeks, getting up to just under 4 trillion. So we've made a new all-time high in the total crypto market cap, right? This cycle, okay? Also, back here in total 3, which is all of crypto minus Bitcoin and ETH. Look at this, all-time high for it. Last bull market was 1.13 trillion. What have we gotten to this cycle? Well, in December, we got to 1.16. So we made a new all-time high, but barely. As a matter of fact, even right now, with Bitcoin being at all-time highs, total 3, again, which is all of crypto minus Bitcoin and ETH, isn't even at an all-time high, has not made an all-time high in this particular run we've had in the past few weeks. The all-time high is sitting back here in December, which is barely an all-time high, barely above the 2021 all-time high, okay? So we made all-time highs in total. We've made all-time highs, albeit barely, in total 3. But when we go to others, which is all of crypto excluding the top 10, the all-time high still resides back in November of 21, where it was 492 billion, just under 500. The highest we've gotten so far, right here, 451 billion back in December. So we have not made a new all-time high in others, which is all of crypto minus the top 10. Again, to repeat myself, total, we've made an all-time high with a bit of a bullet by about 25% higher, okay? In total 3, all of crypto minus Bitcoin ETH, we've made an all-time high barely, but we've made one, right? But in the true altcoin barometer, we have not made an all-time high, and frankly, best we've done is come within 10% of it, which is good, but we haven't made a new all-time high. Again, if we fast forward to end of August, early September, we should see a new all-time high of somewhere around 500 to 550 billion, okay? But if it can break above this line, I think we start teleporting by the end of the year up to this line, which would put us somewhere around 3 trillion for others, which would be crazy. Because let me do a little math real quick. Total crypto is 3.8 trillion, and others right now is 290 billion. Right now, others makes up 13% of the total crypto market cap. So that means 90% of all of crypto's value is sitting here from Cardano to Bitcoin. 90%, almost. And then the other 12, 13% is sitting from Hyperliquid down to everything else in crypto, okay? That's what this chart's telling me. And what I'm saying to you is, I think there's a very real possibility that total or others gets up to 3 trillion by the end of the year, which is a 10x from here. And I expect total, in that case, total, to get at a high maybe of 13 trillion. So let's do a little math there, right? Currently, others makes up 13%. So if we go 3 divided by 13, that means others would go from 13% to 23%. That's massive. That means altcoins outperform the majors and certainly Bitcoin. And total 3 if it gets to where I think it's going to go at the end of the year, will put us up here around 3.78 trillion. So when I look at my math, that doesn't make sense. That actually does not make sense. Because this includes others. So if others is going to 3, this would have to go higher. So that doesn't make sense. That actually does not add up. That does not add up. So others probably won't get that high. I was looking at the wrong line. Still, 2.2. Yeah, 2.2. So it'd be about 8x. So that doesn't add up. That actually does not add up with this trend line right here. Because I would expect the top 10 to probably double. Well, actually, maybe that would be about right. Because I would expect the top 10 to roughly double, right? Add maybe, so these ones from Cardano to XRP to maybe roughly double from here, adding maybe another 750 billion in market cap, maybe at most $1 trillion. So I would definitely expect most of the gains to come from below. So I guess that does add up, actually. That does add up. Because that would put others, yeah, up here at this top line, would put it close. Yeah, actually that would make more sense. Yeah, that would make more sense actually, because it should massively outperform the top 10. So that does add up. But then that would put Bitcoin and ETH, if total found its way up here to close to 4 trillion, total 3, and if total did find its way up here to 13, that means Bitcoin and ETH would make up the remainder. So 13 minus 4 would equal this. I would expect Bitcoin to make up, well, Bitcoin would make up probably about 0.43% of total. So that would leave ETH to be about 2.5 trillion. That makes about sense. 2.5 trillion for ETH, 5.5 for Bitcoin. Divided by the current of 2.4, take that times 120. Yeah, that put Bitcoin around 275. All that adds up. So let me just sum all this up again, just looking at you. The charts tell me, again, no guarantees. There's no guarantees in this stuff. I can just look at probabilities and I can see trends. And this is multi-year trends and ranges. And over my time in trading over the years, ranges and trend lines tend to act like magnets. And even though they may seem absurdly impossible, never doubt them, to the upside or downside. And it looks to me like Bitcoin by the end of the year has a real possibility anyways, of getting somewhere between 250 and 330. We'll say 220 and 330, just to give us a bigger range. And that would put the total market cap somewhere around 8 to 13 trillion for all of crypto combined, which would leave, so that would put Bitcoin at about 5 trillion. So that would leave the rest of crypto somewhere between around 4 trillion, I guess, either way. And that would mean most of that gain probably come from others. So they would probably go up to about 2+ trillion, and the top 10 would go up to, because currently they're at about 700 billion, the number 3 to number 10. And everything else is about half of that, about 300 billion, a little less than half. But I expect the outside the top 10 to outperform number 3 through 10 by a margin of at least 3, which would put it at 1.5 trillion, and that would put 1.5 to 2, and that would put number 3 through 10, which is like XRP, Cardano, Tron, it's closer to 1.5 to 2, which would make the 4. And then that would leave another 4 on the low end to 9 for Bitcoin and Ethereum. Bitcoin would make up probably about 43 to 50% of that, of the total. So of that remaining 9, more like 60, 70%. Let's go into that. Where am I getting that percentage out of? Well, let me show you this chart. This is Bitcoin dominance. What this means, see that little percent symbol? Dominance means how much of the total market cap does Bitcoin dominate? Currently 62%. So all of the money in crypto, 62% of it is in Bitcoin. But you can see that it moves around, okay? It moves around a lot. This is a weekly chart. This right here was the top in December of 2020. Bitcoin got all the way up to 73.6%. And then, again, that's December, the end of December of 2020. And by May of 21, just January, February, March, April, just 5 months later, Bitcoin had went from 73% to 39% as dominance, meaning altcoins, this right here, this is what altcoin season looks like when Bitcoin dominance drops. Let me ask you real quick, from December of 2020 to May of 2021, even though Bitcoin dominance dropped a ton, what do you think happened to Bitcoin price from December to May? What do you think happened? Do you think it went up, down, or sideways? Put in the comments. Hit the like button if you're liking this. I'm not suggesting any decoupling. If the stock market goes down, it's very hard, almost impossible for anything else to go up. Anyone answer the question? So Bitcoin dominance, the percentage Bitcoin made up of all of crypto, in December of 20 to May of 21 went from 73% to 39%. Dropped a ton. What do you think happened to Bitcoin price? It went up a lot. It went from like 15K to 64K. So Bitcoin did like a 4X, but yet its dominance fell, meaning the altcoin market did probably at least a doubling of that. And we haven't really had that yet. This is what altcoin season looks like. Let me go back even further. Oh, is this one not going to take me back further? There it is. This was the first ever altcoin season right here in 2017, right? In February of 2017, Bitcoin dominance was 96%, meaning that for every dollar in crypto, 96 cents were in Bitcoin. And then altcoin season. And Bitcoin price, by the way, from that time period, Feb 2017, to the bottom of January 2018, it went down to as low as 35%, went from 96 to 35%. And in that time period, Bitcoin price, let's find February of 17, was as low as $863. And it went all the way up by December to 19,800, doing a nice like 25x. Yet its dominance fell dramatically from 96 to 35. So Bitcoin did like a 25x. That means the rest of altcoins did like a 75x. This was the first ever altcoin season. This was the second, right? Bitcoin went from here, 73% down to 39% from December to May, December 20 to May 21. But yet Bitcoin price went from about 15,000 to 64,000. It doing about a 4x, meaning the altcoins did about an 8 to 10x. And then we had a double top right here. right here. And then we chopped sideways for the bear market, broke out of it, and we broke out of this range in June of 23. And we've been traveling in this ascending channel for over 2 years. There was that first touch on the bottom, touch on the top, touch on the bottom, touch on the top, double touch on top, touch on the bottom, riding it, top, bottom, top. There, what happened right there, broke out of the channel. Look at that, broke below it, which is what you want to see in bullish times, was right in December. But it was a fake out. It broke out, it busted down, but then it came back in quickly and came up here and even overcorrected, rode it, and now we've come back down right to where? Right to the bottom of the channel. So the question is, are we going to continue down? If we do, this is the first line of support I see, and then the second, which would put us, this one right here is about 52%, this one right here is about 48%, and ultimately, if our wildest dreams come true, we need Bitcoin dominance to come down here to this long-term trend line, 2017 low, 2021 low, come down here into the low 40s. If we want total market cap to go up here to 13 trillion, if we want total 3 to come up here to 4 trillion, if we want others to come up here to 2 trillion, then we need Bitcoin dominance to come down here into the 40s. And that would be the third ever altcoin season looking like this, the first ever altcoin season, second ever, and we would need it to break down into the 40s. And we would also need stablecoin dominance to break, to come down here into the sub 4s, sub 4%. Stablecoin dominance, so that's the percentage of money in crypto that is in stablecoins. When things are really bullish for altcoins, Bitcoin dominance is dropping and stablecoin dominance is dropping, right? Because if for every dollar in crypto, you need money to come out of Bitcoin and out of stablecoins. Not out of, just less of it to go into. It needs to be less dominant for altcoins to rise faster than Bitcoin. So what's really interesting here too about stablecoin dominance is it really, I mean, it topped here. This is probably Luna. Yeah, it's the Luna collapse, topped out at, let me line it up. Topped out at about 16.7% during the Luna collapse. Put a 1 in the chat if you were around during the Luna collapse in 2022. Put a 2 if you weren't. That's fine, Antonio. I'm just wondering, just getting a gauge. DJ put a 1. Mostly 2s in here. That's fine. The only thing is, I do wish you were around. Antonio says, I wish I was. You do wish you were, but I want to be very clear, maybe not for the reasons you think. Because in times like that, your diaper is filled with terrified poop. I'm serious. Looking back, it's like, oh my God, I wish I was round to buy. No. Yes, but you probably wouldn't have, because you would have been shitting your pants. That is a signal of the market absolutely pooping its britches. And it's scary. I was concerned. Very. When FTX collapsed in November of that same year, again, it was scary, but not as scary as Luna. It was disappointing. What I'm going to say to you is this. those times when you look back on the chart and you're like, oh my God, I wish I'd bought it at that price. You have to understand, only the iron-willed believers are buying, because everyone is shitting their pants. And the most common thing being said by far is, it's going lower. That's the most common belief by far. And at the top, everyone is euphoric and geniuses, and everyone thinks it's going higher. And you really only get good at taking the most optimal actions by being around and enduring the pain. And it's painful. It's a grind. It's scary. It's concerning. It's frustrating. It's so much. But that's why I rely on charts, because they tell me, hey, here are the probabilities. I don't need to get the exact bottom. I don't need to get the exact top, but the charts tell me when it heavily favors me to buy, and they also show me when it heavily favors me to sell. And it's not an every day or every week or every month or even every quarter type of thing. As I showed you going back here, this is 10 years of Bitcoin price to Bitcoin mining cost. There were only, in 10 years, there were only 4 times, right? 1, 2, that was very brief because that was COVID, 3, 4 times in the last 10 years that you could buy Bitcoin for less than it cost to mine it. On average, that's taking one buy action, one heavy buy action, once every 2.5 years. Most of the time, you're absolutely doing nothing other than watching and watching and observing and watching and observing and watching and observing and going about your normal life. And then when the moment comes, when the data tells you the probabilities are heavily in your favor, which is rare, that's when everyone's going to be the most scared. That's when you're going to be the most scared. But that's when you have to throw emotion and fear out, and you have to try your best to minimize it and make the right fucking move. Because every time in markets through all of history, it is the right fucking move. But what about when Enron collapsed? Clearly you wouldn't buy Enron. FTX collapsed. I'm not going to go buy FTX, but I see all the other shit, good shit that fell with it for no reason. Like Bitcoin going into the 15,000s. I went into extra overtime work in November and December of 2022, spending my time off camera thinking, how can I communicate to people what kind of opportunity this is? How can I get them over their fear? How can I get them to just make the fucking move? And I tried everything I could. You know, I have a lot of experience in marketing, which is really just human communication, really learning to talk around people's are ridiculous and false beliefs. I tried so hard. I went through so many things. And the best example, the best presentation, the best case I made was to get people to tell themselves that it was the right time to buy through logic. Put a 1 in the chat if you want me to tell you how I came up with to convince as many people as possible to buy Bitcoin at the 15, 16,000 level. Again, today in 2025, if you weren't around especially, you're thinking, that'd be so easy. People were most messages to me were like, is Bitcoin dead? Is crypto dead? Like, tell me the truth. Like, they were so scared. And I'm like, no, but I've been around a while. So I know this is what the best buying times look like. Put a 1 if you want me to tell you what I've told them. Because I'm going to need you, there comes a time when you're probably going to need to remember this. I see 1-1. There's just very few things we know for sure. So I'm not going to explain it because no one seems to care. I see 2 1s, 3 1s. Okay, well, 4, okay. We're getting there. That's maybe 10% of you. Let cheeky monks throwing in a double, triple. He still only counts as 1-1. Okay. So here's what I repeated multiple times a stream. And I went double duty after the FTX collapse because I knew people were going to make the absolute wrong decision, which was do nothing. I said, listen, everybody on the stream, here's what I said to everybody. I go, listen, how many of you think Bitcoin price is going to go lower? Almost everybody would say yes. And I go, I think it might too, but I don't know. So almost everybody thought it was going to go lower. And they're all like, I'm waiting for it to go lower. I'm pretty sure it's going to go lower. Bitcoin was at 69,000, came down into the 15,000s. This is what I'm telling you. Like, in the moment, it is so scary. And almost everybody is using a procrastinative measure to be like, I'm waiting for it to go lower. I'm pretty sure it's going to go lower, even though they don't know shit. No one knows if it's going to go lower. Me either. But I don't have to know. And so I looked at them, I go, okay, yeah, I think it might too. There's a chance it does. But here's my thoughts. Can I share my thoughts with you, everybody? And they're like, yes, please, please, please. I go, okay. Let me ask you a question. This is back then when Bitcoin's at like 15,800, low 16,000s. And I'm like, do you believe there's going to be another Bitcoin and crypto bull run? All those people that said, I'm not buying right now, it's going to go lower. That was everybody. I said, do you think there's going to be another bull run? They all say yes. And I go, okay, when do you think that bull run is going to be? They would all say 2024, 2025, 2024, 2025. By the way, I'm going to continue, but I want you to realize they were all right. They nailed it. And that's what I agreed with too. I said, yeah, I agree. I think there will be another bull run because duh. And it'll be in 24 and 25. What's happened? Fast forward 2-3 years later. It's exactly what's happened. So they knew it was going to happen. And I asked this final question. I go, okay. And in that 2024, 2025 bull run, conservatively, what do you think Bitcoin's going to get to? Everyone would say at least 100,000. And I'm like, okay. And by the way, fast forward, they were right about that too, weren't they? So, and I knew that was going to happen. I felt extremely certain based on real data. And I said, okay, let me ask you one final question. Just to be clear. So you believe there will be another bull run. You believe it will be in 2024, 2025. And you believe conservatively, Bitcoin's going to get to 100K. They go, yeah. I go, so Bitcoin's at 16,000 right now. So you're telling me 3 years from now, your $16,000 can turn into 100,000 and you're waiting for it to go lower? And then the stream the comments would stop. Do you understand why? Because I just shattered their limiting beliefs, their fear. And they realized they didn't have an answer for that. I'm waiting for it to go lower didn't matter anymore. Because if Bitcoin's going to 100 in 2 or 3 years, which it did in 2 years, by the way, this was December of 22, by December of 24, Bitcoin is at over 100K. I said, so in 2 to 3 years, is it really going to matter if you bought Bitcoin at 16,000 or 13,000 if it's going to 100? And eventually someone will go, you're right. You're right. Thank you. And then a ton of thank yous would come in. Because I showed them the logic. I cleaned the mirror. They were seeing all kinds of weird goop garbage. And I said, so if it goes down lower, just be happy that you get to buy even more lower because it's going to 100 in 2 to 3 years. I said that over multiple times a stream. So I saved some people. I don't think I saved most by any means, but I saved a lot more people. And I spent a lot of time coming up with that train of thought and questioning to break people's beliefs and get them to make the decision. Because then they could see clearly. If they didn't make the decision, fine. But they could see clearly. They saw that they can't live in a world where they're too scared to buy Bitcoin at 16,000 because it might go lower. And it can't coexist with Bitcoin's going to 100,000 in 2 to 3 years. You can't be scared to buy Bitcoin at 16,000 and say it's going to 100,000 with certainty in 2 to 3 years. One of them is true. And they knew damn well, most of them, many of them, that 100,000 in 2 to 3 years was very likely. So 16,000 didn't matter if it went lower. Can you see me? Can you see me? Hello? I just had a phone call come in. I just had a phone. Can you guys hear me? You can hear me? So I just had a call come in and it like effed with my screen. Can you see me now? Can you see me? I can see myself moving again now. Okay, good. Yeah, someone called and everything just stopped. Okay. I don't go live on YouTube much. On TikTok, it doesn't matter, but here I guess it does. So I think I figured out how to navigate it. But that's the truth, right? Those types of things, keeping your head about you. And right now, let me zoom in. We're going back, right? This was the all-time chart for Bitcoin price to Bitcoin mining cost. Let's zoom into 6 months. Right? You actually had a little period here in April during the tariff scares. You had a little window here to buy Bitcoin at 76,000 below mining cost. And here we went back above by a decent margin, by about over 20%. And now we've come back into equilibrium, but we got high again. And now we're sitting at about what? 10, 20, yeah, about almost 30%, like 30%. Bitcoin price is about 30% above mining cost right now. So it's not a great time to buy. But again, keeping logic about us back here, when Bitcoin got down into the 70s, right, and then it's below mining cost, that's a good time to buy. It's not a huge gap, but it's a gap. So all you got to do is wait, because every time that Bitcoin ever goes below mining cost, it is a buy. It's rare, and it is absolutely a buy, because Bitcoin price will always come back above mining cost, and mining cost will always go up over time. Always, because of the halving. Therefore, Bitcoin price will always go up. And I want to be clear with you too. Come here. Have you hit the follow button yet? And have you turned on notifications? So, let me close something on my computer quick. So let me be clear. The charts show me that probabilities favor, if it happens, right? It's not guaranteed, but there's a decent probability that in August to early September, we see Bitcoin roughly pump up to about 150. And we see altcoins pump up about 70% from where they are right now. And by the end of the year, nothing's guaranteed. Okay? I'm just saying this stuff because the probabilities are worth mentioning, to say the least. That by the end of the year, looks to me like it's quite possible. Am I going to say probable? No, but quite possible that Bitcoin finds its way up to the upper part of the range, which would put it at, I can't even show you the Bitcoin price chart. The upper part of the range, right? 2017 high, 2021 highs. I got the two lines marking each top. By the end of the year, that would put Bitcoin at about 250,000 to 326,000. Possible. Not because I just make up some number, because I'm looking at the chart, and charts don't lie. And trend lines tend to, especially upper and lower parts of ranges, tend to act like magnets. The only thing is you don't know when that magnet and the piece of metal, whatever, are gonna touch, are gonna. But to me, looks quite possible by the end of the year, which would put Bitcoin somewhere around 250 to 320, which would put total crypto, which is right now at 3.8 trillion, put it somewhere around 8 to 13 trillion, which, you know, well, what's XYZ number 222 shitcoin gonna do? I don't know. It's gonna go up from where it is now. How much? I don't know. But I don't need to know. I'm not into tops. The multiples would be fantastic. And that would put ETH, what's ETH's market cap at right now? 4.25 to 2.5. That would put ETH somewhere between, let me do some quick head math real quick. ETH, that Ethereum, that would put it somewhere between, yeah, it would put ETH somewhere around 9 to 10. I'll say about 10 to 17,000, which seems insane from here. But I've seen way crazier in crypto, from Ethereum itself, from Bitcoin itself, from Solana itself. Like, and that would put Solana, you know, I don't know, but 1 to 2,000. Right now it's down to 188. So where would that put XRP? I want XRP to go in the garbage. I'm so sick of XRP. I made a lot of money from XRP, but I don't like it. I mean, I like it, but not because I like XRP. It just makes money. So it probably will continue to. And even in the bear market, when I bought XRP at like 35 cents, I was saying to everybody, I'm like, you know, I don't really like XRP. It doesn't really make sense. The whole story that they have doesn't add up at all, like not even close mathematically. But from the trend lines, I'm like, it looks to me like XRP probably gets to at least $10. And I still think that. But from this point at, you know, over $3, is it where my best returns are going to come from? No. So I don't touch it. I'd rather be in Solana than XRP if I'm going to be in a major. All right, drop your questions in here. Let's see here. One last thing to say. I want you all to remember, it's not about, in 2017 and 2021, those are the golden years of altcoin seasons in crypto markets, okay? Those are the golden years. You can't go back to them. In the current circumstances and situation we're in, it's not as crazy. You can't expect to just get rich as shit like you could in 17 and 21. I want to break the glass for you on that one. The probabilities of you actually making life-changing money in this one bull market are exponentially less than they were in 2021 or 2017. Exponentially less. But with that being said, see the forest through the trees. You can still make a lot of money, just not 100, 500Xs like in 2017 and 2021, but 5, 10, even 20 X's in this market? Quite possible. But I think you do best to throw away the 100 X's and 200X ideas. It's not gonna happen for you. It's not gonna happen. And if you go chasing that stuff, you're way more likely to lose all your money. But to go, if all you want to do is just buy Bitcoin and actually grow your wealth over time, almost nothing's gonna outperform it over time. Nothing. Not real estate, not gold, not the stock market, not altcoins, nothing. In periods of time, altcoins can outperform it. But it's important to get the fuck out of those, all of them, in my opinion, and put it into real things. Put it in cash, yield-bearing cash, yield-bearing stable coin, and Bitcoin. And that's the game. It's a perpetual long game. You're not gonna get independently financially free this year. It's not gonna happen. Very unlikely. But I don't say that to discourage you. I say that to set your expectations appropriately so that you don't take way too much risk and miss the much easier, fantastic opportunities, right? I'm sitting here talking about it seems quite possible to get 3, 4, even 5 X's on some relatively safer cryptos by the end of the year. And I know you, most of you, that's not good enough because you want to turn $100 into $1 million. Just not good, but it's just not going to happen. Just not going to happen. But what if you could turn 10,000 into 50,000 by the end of the year? That's pretty awesome. Turn 100,000 into 300,000 by the end of the year. That's pretty awesome. And those types of things are almost layups, in my opinion. And to go for things harder than that, for most of you, you don't have the experience and you're most likely just gonna lose most of your money. I'm just being real with you, okay? Because you probably weren't around in 2017. You might not have even been around in 2021. We are not in the same conditions. We're not in the same type of environments. Yes, pro-crypto president, yes. But the numbers have changed, right? When I first got into crypto in 2017, the entire market cap was less than 100 billion, not just Bitcoin, everything. And there was almost nothing. It was basically Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and Litecoin. That was it. That was basically that was literally all of crypto in 2017. That was all of crypto. That was it. All the money in crypto was in those 4 things. That was like all that existed. Stable coins didn't even exist then. So all the money only went into like those 4 things. So you could get rich in fucking Litecoin and Ethereum. My brother bought Ethereum at $11. And then it went to $1,400 in 2017. And since 2017, in 21 it went to $4,800. And since then, it's barely broken 4,000. Right? To go from $11, my brother bought Ethereum at $11 at the end of 2016. And by the end of 2017, it was $1,400. Because there was only like 4 things to fucking buy in crypto then. Now, there's what? Like literally like 1 million different coins? The money, even though there's more money in crypto, it's way more distributed, spread out thinner. So making those types of gains is exponentially harder. But what do money managers, retirement accounts, and what plans do you usually follow? Invest in the stock market, make like 10% a year. By the time you retire, you'll be a millionaire and be comfortable. And everyone keeps grinding away to do that, 10% a year, 10% a year, okay, which is solid. But when I sit here and say, hey, you could, in my opinion, pretty easily make 2 to 5x by the end of the year, like it just gets ignored because people want 100x's. And I'm like, that's not the environment we live in anymore. In crypto, just like the stock market, like imagine meeting someone, they're like, hey, I want to make 100x in the stock market this year. You're like, I mean, technically it's possible, but not really. What are you doing? And what if that's all they try to do? What if everyone you talk to is just trying to get 100x in the stock market this year? What do you think the odds of them winning are? What do you think the odds of them losing all or most of their money is? About 100%. And I'm telling you, that's the environment we're in crypto right now. But it's much easier to massively outperform the stock market, with 2, 3, 4, 5x by the end of the year. And in a year is that makes you like one of the best traders in all of market history. So I'm trying to get you to drink some coffee and sober up and see reality. But it's not about what happens this year. Crypto over time, it's just gonna keep going up. It's gonna go up and down and up and down and up, just like all markets. But there's a lot more volatility in crypto compared to other markets, meaning there's bigger moves to the upside, but also bigger moves to the downside. And a lot of coins will never make new all-time highs or even come back to their old ones. So you gotta be careful with what you get in. I don't know, I'll keep preaching this over and over. Almost no one's gonna listen, but I'm trying. All I can do is try. But you got in Bitcoin at $7.50. Did you sell it at 15, a nice swift 2x? Most people did. Captain Trader, what's up, bud? I don't know if we'll see 8 to 13 this cycle. We're in one perpetual bull market, Trader. I don't either. But the charts tell me it's quite possible. And frankly, looking at the patterns, see those charts, I didn't really say the word pattern much, but you can see the patterns, and we're still within the patterns. There's been no reason for me to, there's been no confirmation of a break of the pattern. And we're talking an over decade pattern. So I'm not going to assume the pattern's not going to play out until the pattern confirms that the pattern's broken. And nothing has happened to show me the pattern is broken. So, like I said, most of the time, by far, we do nothing. We position and wait. I position and wait. You do whatever you want. I'm probably going to outperform you. And I'm going to do 99% less than most of you. It moves, but I will put in more work looking at charts and stuff than most of you. Not just you, I mean most, but I've been in crypto longer than most. I've been in crypto over 8 years. I know alpha coins, yeah. I learned some, welcome Maria, I'm glad you learned some stuff. And it's a never-ending study. It's a never-ending study. Hit the follow button if you haven't yet. No, poke file, don't go. Let me be very clear. Bitcoin will never, ever, ever, ever be completely mined. Does anyone understand that? That Bitcoin will never be completely mined? Put a 1 if you understand that, put a 2 if you don't, and I'll explain if I need to. So the reason Bitcoin will never, ever, ever, ever be completely mined is because of the halving. So right now, we can mine 450 Bitcoin a day. After the next halving, how many Bitcoin can we mine after the next halving? If we're mining 450 Bitcoin a day now, how many Bitcoin will we be able to mine a day after the next halving? Drop in the comments. Kwon got it right, 225. And how many Bitcoin after the halving after that will we be able to mine? So 2 halvings from now, how many Bitcoin will we mine a day? 2 halvings from now. This is important. Please someone answer. This is so important. 112 and a half, exactly. And here's the real question, I'm close. How many times do you need to have something before it gets to 0? How many times do you have to have something, half it, until it gets to 0? How many times? Drop in the comments. There is a correct answer. Antonio, infinite. You can never half something to 0. You can't half it to 0. So there will never actually be 21 million completely mined Bitcoins. The halvings will happen for the rest of time. There will never be a we've mined all the Bitcoin moment. Be real. To be real, most of you probably still don't understand what the halving is. But have you ever heard anyone make that realization for you before? Why do they always talk about 2140, 2135 being when the last Bitcoin is mined? Because they're fucking idiots. Because they're fucking idiots. And you listen to them. Think they know what they're talking about. And good luck winning. They can't even get simple math right. But they know what's going to happen? Do they ever show you why they think what's going to happen is going to happen? Very few do. And the ones that do, keep paying attention to them. It's like an atom. It never goes. Exactly. It's just, you can't half something to 0. You can keep having it forever. But Bitcoin, but it won't really matter anymore. Yeah, well, do you know how much, but like, do you understand how much Bitcoin's going to be worth like 50 halvings from now? When they're mining way less than 1 Bitcoin a day? Bitcoin's going to be worth a metric fuck ton of dollars. That's why another reason that Bitcoin price just goes up over time. Because it costs more and more and more to mine Bitcoin over time. More and more and more and more. And because of the halving, it's a force. It doubles the cost of mining overnight. And that keeps happening once about every 4 years. And that will keep happening as long as the Bitcoin network exists. Basically, in my view, till humanity is extinct. Or we go back to the Stone Age. Right? That's right, Antonio. Antonio says the reward becomes infinitesimally smaller over time, and eventually it'll be less than 1 Satoshi per day. It will be. Imagine how much a Satoshi is worth at that time. Imagine how much a whole Bitcoin is worth at that time in history. Think about all the public mining companies and royals and governments that mine Bitcoin right now. Now imagine in the future when all they get is 1 Satoshi a day and them and many more are still mining Bitcoin. Imagine how much a Satoshi is worth. Don't go for the 100Xs this year. Be more thoughtful with your moves and think out, look out further than most. Just like I told you 2.5 years ago in November, December of 2022, when Bitcoin was at 15, 16,000. And I was just pleading logically with people through math and their own beliefs. that buying Bitcoin at 16,000 was the best financial decision they've ever made, instead of waiting to buy it because they think it's going to go lower. I'm telling you right now, the math just shows that Bitcoin is just going to go higher and higher and higher and higher. You just need to have patience, because the trajectory is inevitable. It will continue going up and to the right forever until humanity is extinct and or we go to the Stone Age for some reason. It's the easiest thing. And then just go about your life. And progressively, in my opinion, keep buying. And when it gets to those moments in time where the price of Bitcoin is less than it costs to mine, shove with no doubt, and you won't have any doubt. What's Bitcoin's utility? Storage of wealth. It is a wealth growth vehicle. That's its utility. To be the best money humanity has ever known. I welcome people in all stages of their journey. By your questions, I can tell what stage of the journey you're in. Just realize that. I've been in crypto over 8 years. Every question you can ask, I have asked. And even though I give the answer, you may not be at the point where you understand it yet. Patience, experience, mother of wisdom, probably. But no one ever knows everything. So Sophia's at the skeptical, trying to make sense of it stage, and that's okay. I say this because I welcome you and I want to help. And the concept of money and finances aren't really taught to us. In actuality, we are intentionally misinformed to understand money and finances in the way they want us to, so that it benefits them. A true understanding of what money even is known by few, even though it's readily available to understand. Let me ask everybody real quick. What makes something money? What are the properties of a money? What are the properties that make something money? Bit of a trick question. There are 9 properties of money. And by rating each of those properties gives you a gauge to the quality of the money. But in reality, everything is money. Because at the end of the day, money is a tool for trade. This mouse is money, right? You may not want to buy this from me today, but if you're stuck at a PowerPoint presentation at your job and you forgot your mouse, you'll probably pay me for this mouse or trade me something else, right? This is money. If you're out somewhere in a desert and you come across some water and you don't have any cups or any way to carry that water, you'd probably pay me a lot of all kinds of things for this cup. This is money. Everything is money. But the question is, how do you rate the quality of money? And there are 9 properties that you grade them. That's how you determine money and the quality of money. And those 9 properties, Bitcoin is the best rated money of all time. You want me to show you the properties? Here are the 9 properties of money. Durability, portability, divisibility, fungibility, scarcity, verifiability, history, censorship resistant, and smart/programmable. These are the 9 properties of money. This is the newest property. But these ones, these 8, have been around forever. Durable. Gold, very durable. Very hard to destroy gold, right? So that's good. Fiat, a dollar bill, pretty easy to destroy it, but moderate because we have the digital stuff. Bitcoin, you can't destroy it. It exists forever unless we go back to the Stone Age. But even then, when we get the internet back going, centuries later, it'll still be there. That's the highest rank on durability of all time for all monies ever. Portability. Kind of hard to carry gold around the world, wouldn't you say? Try bringing it through an airport. Try getting it on a ship. Fiat, hard to bring cash around, but because of the digital nature of some of it, you can carry it around. It's ranked high. But coming down to this one, which we'll get to, it's not as portable as Bitcoin because no one can stop you from bringing your Bitcoin anywhere in the world. People can stop you from taking your physical dollars and your digital dollars if they want to, but no one can stop you from taking your Bitcoin anywhere you want, anytime you want. Bitcoin ranks the highest in both of those 2 of all money in history. Divisibility. Gold, kind of hard to break it up. You can break it up into grams and portions of grams and stuff, but it's a pain in the ass, kind of hard to do. Fiat goes down to the penny, but Bitcoin goes down to the Satoshi. Highest of all time and easiest to divide. So Bitcoin's 3 for 3. Fungibility. All 3 of these are high, completely, perfectly high. Because what fungibility means is each one is completely equal and identical to the other. An ounce of gold is an ounce of gold. A $100 bill is a $100 bill. A Bitcoin is a Bitcoin. These are equally ranked in fungibility. Scarcity. Gold, moderate. We don't really know how much gold there is or how long we can mine it for. We saw an asteroid the other day that had a massive fuck ton of gold on it. Once we start learning how to mine asteroids for gold, well, that scarcity is going to decrease. Anyways, we can keep mining gold out of the ground and we can increase the rate. Fiat, terrible. There's an infinite amount of fiat. They can keep printing more to infinity. Bitcoin, there's only 21 million. That's all there's ever going to be. Highest ranked. Verifiable. Gold, you can verify that gold is gold. Fiat, you can verify that it's a dollar, but there's counterfeits. And you can kind of counterfeit gold too by adding other metals in and stuff like that. A little bit harder to verify the purity of the gold. They make counterfeit dollars. You can easily and with complete certainty verify that a Bitcoin is a Bitcoin, highest ranked. Established history, this is the only one that Bitcoin really ranks the lowest because it's the youngest. Gold is the highest. Ton of history. Fiat, not as much history. Bitcoin, the newest. Censorship resistant, meaning that no one can take it from you or block you, etc. They can take your gold, try to bring it in the airport, they can confiscate it, store it in a vault, they could come get it. They can freeze your bank accounts here with fiat, can't they? But no one can take your damn Bitcoin, no one. And as for smart programmable, this is the newest property, really came into existence because of Bitcoin. Gold, 0. Fiat, somewhat programmable because we have, digital dollars. They're not stable coins, but the banking system, you can send ledger accounts across, but Bitcoin is perfectly smart and programmable and do tons of things. This is why when I say, what's its utility? It's the best form of money that's ever existed. Ow, my fucking ankle just slipped off the thing. That hurt. Hopefully I don't start bleeding. These are the things that you learn over time when you study. So I hope that sufficiently answers Sophia's question, but I don't know if she's even on here anymore, which would be about par for the course for most people. They ask a question and they don't really want the answer because they feel like they know it already and they're not open. I don't know if she's still on here or not. I hope so. You are? Okay, good. Most people leave before I even get through the explanation, so you're above them. So I would just say, study money. And everyone should do that all the time. Money is so much more than just something we buy stuff with. Money is an idea that could be studied for many lifetimes. Like properties of money that should be taught in grade school, but it's not. Money should be taught in grade school, but it's not taught in any school. Even if you get a finance degree, you don't really learn about money. You learn about ways to manipulate the form of credit and debt that we have in the current financial system of fiat and debt. Some good books. Saifedean, what's his last name? He's got a book called The Bitcoin Standard. It's a heavy read, but it's worth it. And you'll probably want to read it multiple times. It's called The Bitcoin Standard. The Bitcoin Standard. Oh, you do? It's a very good one. Have you read it? And have you really understood it? It's a good one. But it's thick in terms of like, you know, I'd say for most people they should probably just read a few pages a day, because it's thick with, it's deep, maybe that's the way I should put it. Okay. Yeah. Definitely read that one multiple times and go back to it maybe once a year, because you'll see things in it you haven't seen before. And he wrote that book, I mean, close to a decade ago. And he was just dead fucking right about all of it. And it's not like, oh, he's a Nostradamus. It's like, no, he just understands what money is. That's really all it comes down to. You understand what money is, then it's inevitable that money will always take the best form. And Bitcoin is the best form in at least known human history that has ever existed. And it's not close. It's really not close. But as with all types of money, the centralized powers that be will try to attract the money to themselves. So, you know, if you go buy an ETF, there's a level of convenience to it, but your Bitcoin is in someone else's hands. And ultimately they can say you can't withdraw it. And you can't even do it on the weekends. You know, they do it between their business hours of like 9 to 4, Monday through Friday, excluding holidays. And even then they could deny your request for selling or moving your Bitcoin. So the potential, if used in the way it was designed, Bitcoin is, I'm just going to say, the perfect form of money. I don't know how it could possibly be better other than established history, but that just takes time. And I think it has enough history now that we can feel very safe in its battle-testedness it has been through. The amount of times Bitcoin has died and come back from the dead stronger than ever, 12 times. 1, 2, 3 or 4, like really shot in the head. Everyone really thought it was dead times, and it came back stronger than ever. So it's, yeah. And at this point, we're still, I don't want to say we're still early, because I don't feel like that. I don't feel like we're late, right? I don't feel like you're late, but it's you are catching the next train. And that doesn't mean you're going to get on the last train, but you've missed a number of trains at this point. And it's just going to keep going on with or without you. I say that in general to anybody. not any specific person, just anyone that's doesn't understand it yet, which is most people. And even most people buying and selling Bitcoin, like, still don't really understand the value that it really is. Because if they did, they wouldn't sell it. Bitcoin's the only thing I don't sell. I don't sell it. I don't trade it. And frankly, I play in altcoins, but it's really just to temporarily outperform Bitcoin so that I can buy more Bitcoin. Because there's not a better, Michael Saylor's got it dead right. There's, what could you possibly buy that's a better asset than Bitcoin? What is going to outperform Bitcoin? For 16 years, 16 and a half years, Bitcoin has been the best performing asset over those 16 years, and it's been the best performing asset over a 16-year period in all of history by a margin so big it almost can't be measured. So at what point do you just stop trying to take the idea of the old world and fit this new world into your old idea and saying, new world, not like my old world the way I think I know it, therefore new world bad, . At what point do people stop? I don't know. But in the meantime, the longer they take, the more Bitcoin's going to appreciate in terms of multiples. I mean, imagine by the end of the year, the government announces we are now actively buying Bitcoin. Did you hear me? Imagine by the end of the year, the government says we are now actively buying Bitcoin. We are buying 1,000 Bitcoin a week, and we will continue doing that for 5 years. What is gonna happen to the price? What's gonna happen? Fucking teleport to the top of the fucking range. 3.8 trillion to 13. Do you see? Everyone wants to know, what's gonna be the catalyst? I don't know. But there's gonna fucking be one. There always is. And I do mean, with 100% bullseye accuracy, there always is. Once the government, the US government, actually actively announces that they're buying Bitcoin and they start buying Bitcoin, it's fucking over. That's a whole nother ballgame. That's a whole nother game that you've missed by putting around, fucking around. Drop in the comments. Answer my question. If say by the end of the year, the government comes out, US government comes out and says, we are now actively acquiring Bitcoin, we're going to start buying 5,000 Bitcoin a week for the next 5 years. What's going to happen to the price of Bitcoin? Drop in the comments. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? Come on. Don't be shy. Tyler says going parabolic. Anyone agree or disagree with Tyler? I don't disagree with Tyler. Not at all. Come closer. Even more important question. even more important question. What do you think the probabilities are that the US government eventually starts openly and actively buying Bitcoin? Do I need to ask that again? What are the probabilities that the government eventually, actively and openly, starts buying Bitcoin? What's the probabilities? Give me a comment. 0%? 50%? 100%? Drop in the comments. There is a correct answer. Tyler says 75%. Maybe that's the correct answer. Anyone else? Anybody? So weird to be sitting in front of a camera mostly talking to yourself. Have any of you ever done it? Well, probably not. It's so weird. I've been doing it for several years. I'd prefer to be talking to people. I like to hear my own voice just like anyone else. But sometimes I feel like I do better if I talked with people. Michael says 100%. Well, Michael gave the correct answer. That is the correct answer. It is inevitable. As the sun rising, as the government printing more money, as anything you can think of, that you're going to get hungry by dinner, it's 100% inevitable, inevitable that the government, all governments, are going to be openly buying Bitcoin. They're already secretly buying Bitcoin, quietly. Because once they say we're doing it, guess what? That's when they want you to buy it. That's when they open competition because their bags are filled. They ain't gonna dump on you. There'll be some dumping, maybe. But it's inevitable. It's inevitable. Inevitable. Tyler got it right. He said going parabolic when they do that. It's inevitable. You know about 95% of the planet doesn't own any Bitcoin? But eventually, 100% are gonna wish they did. And they always come up with a reason why they haven't bought it yet. I wish I would have. And that's been going on since the shit was worth $1. Once it got to $10, people are like, oh, I wish I would have bought it. $100, oh, I wish I would have bought it. $1,000, oh, I wish I would have bought it. $10,000, oh, I wish I would have bought it. $100,000, oh, I wish I would have bought it. And they just don't buy it. And then it goes to $200, oh, I wish I bought it. $300, oh, I wish I bought it. $500, and then it's just not gonna stop. Just buy it. I don't give a fuck. Don't worry about the price. But it's down today. I bought it for $120,000. Yesterday it's $118,000 today. Should I sell? Shut the fuck up. Are you kidding me? Think out more than a fucking second. I'm telling you where this is going. People that bought it 10,000 were like, and then it went say bought it 20,000, and then it went down to 3,500. They're like, oh my God. They didn't buy more. And then then they either sold at a loss, or when it got back to break even, they sold it. What a mistake. And everyone's saying it's a mistake. This is just what happens. Then it goes to 69,000. People buy up there, then it goes down to 16, and they sell at a loss. Or maybe it gets back to break even. And at no point has it been a good idea to sell Bitcoin. Well, the big drawdowns, yeah, but are you smart enough to trade like that? The play has been just buy it at any fucking price and keep fucking buying it. And when particularly in the rare moments, it happens about once every 2.5 years, that the price of Bitcoin goes below the mining cost by heavy. I started this entire stream over on TikTok, and I've shown it multiple times here, showing you, pay attention to the price of Bitcoin and the average cost to mine a Bitcoin. Because when the price of Bitcoin is below the average cost, there is no brain cells needed. The move is binary, buy, and chill. This isn't a fucking opinion. I'm looking at data 10 years old, and it only goes back 10 years. If the data could go back further, it would keep showing the same thing. The pattern has been 100% consistent and never been broken, and there's no reason to believe it's going to be broken. So if nothing else, go over here to that site and just follow this fucking chart. Price of Bitcoin, mining cost. It was a good time to buy in April when everyone was shitting their pants because of tariffs. Bitcoin price right here on, surprise, surprise, April fucking 8th was 76, cost to mine 85. Getting it at a 10% discount. Good fucking buy. But it might go down lower. Do I need to slap you through here? So what? Then buy more, because then it becomes even more discounted. And then you know what's going to happen no matter what? Inevitably, it's going to go back above the blue fucking line. And the blue line only goes up and to the right forever. It's not hard. But you're a human, so you make it as hard as it can possibly be. Especially if you've been in crypto for a while and you have your own ideas that you won't let go of. Bitcoin going to 68 DUI Zen, my friend. I feel like you had a typo there. When's the best place to park your USDC or USDT while you wait for those hard push opportunities? That's a good question, Tyler. That's a good question. I know what I do with mine. I put it into DeFi. I put it into DeFi where I get a nice yield and I can withdraw it whenever I want. I put it into DeFi. Either I lend it in some way, whether it be through true lending, through liquidity pools, something like that. Bear market is coming, bro. Come here. Let me show you something. This is the lifetime chart of Bitcoin. It has only gone up and to the right its entire existence. This goes back to October of 2010. Let me verify. October of 2009, excuse me. It has only gone up over time. There has never been a bear market. There have been cyclical bear markets, but Bitcoin is in a perpetual bull market. High, low. Higher high, higher low. Higher high, higher low. Higher high, higher low, higher high. When eventually it does come back down, which is what you're calling a bear market, which is a cyclical bear market, meaning temporary, which I give zero fucks about because I don't care, because I'm patient and it's in a perpetual bull run and will be beyond my lifetime. And none of the signs, none of the data, nothing shows me, nothing, that a cyclical bear market is on the immediate horizon. None of it. And if it is, I have cash. I sold about a week and a half ago. I sold some of my lower risk positions to go into cash. So I'm sitting at about 40% cash right now. So because I anticipate a pullback of Bitcoin to about 113.5, and I'm still waiting for that to play out. And if it doesn't, oh well. Whenever the next fucking pullback from wherever is, when I see it appropriate, I will deploy that powder. Most of it's just a waiting game and not being too eager. I make mistakes. I still get my ass kicked, but I make less of them. Bear market, you said that. Big institutions will eventually take over DeFi and the yields will get less and less. Best to be in now. I agree, Michael. They will kind of be less and less, sort of. But even as they put more money in, they also take more money out. And so the lending and borrowing really is just kind of easier. But nonetheless, yeah, when the time comes, when I see like, oh, well, DeFi is not the best place for my stable coin, I'll find something else. But right now, that's the best place for stablecoin, for powder. But you need to know what you're doing. Put a 1 in the chat if you would like me to put together some kind of DeFi course. I want to gauge the demand on that. Could you show some examples and go into more detail? I will not. The reason I won't is because I can go show you where to go, but you'll probably really fuck it up without some real proper guidance. And I just don't want to do that. A lot of 1s came in. Michael put in, it's kind of deceptive because Michael put 1 3 times and Tyler twice. So only 3 people really responded out of 15. Maybe that's good because it's worked for me. It probably won't be free. So I'm gonna put in that kind of work, I gotta charge something. It won't be expensive. Well, fucking worth way more than ever I charge for it. But yeah, I'll think about that. I'll think about putting together some kind of complete DeFi course. But it'll be stripped down, not like so that it's executable. You know what I mean? Because I could go deep and deep and deep and deep, but it would probably confuse you. So I'll probably keep it more simple and really just boil it down to probably the few sites I use and the few methods, and really just kind of keep it like that. Because ultimately that's basically what I do anyways is, I mean, ultimately when it comes down to it, when you're getting yield on stablecoin, really what you're doing is lending. You're being the bank. That's what DeFi lets you do, it lets you be the bank. It lets you be the borrower too, but the bank borrows money. See, Antonio, I'm gonna hop out of here too. My phone battery is very low, charger, but I think someone is using this room in a little bit, and I'm kind of tired. I've been on here for like 3 hours. I've been on YouTube for almost 2 hours. I think I was on TikTok for almost an hour. Hit the follow button if you haven't. Yeah, definitely hit the follow button and turn on notifications. Because I'll be doing more live streams from YouTube than TikTok. And most TikToks, I'll probably for now keep starting them on TikTok and move people over to YouTube for most of the stream. Because I gotta diversify from TikTok for multiple reasons. One, I'm tired of them because I'm talking about crypto. I'm so tired of their automated bots flagging me for frauds and scams and threatening to close my account. I'm so sick of it. I'm beyond sick of it. And then also, for all I know, Trump may kick TikTok out of the US at any moment. I don't know. So it's obvious that I need to diversify, and YouTube is the best other streaming platform. Instagram is probably good too, but I think YouTube is where I'd just rather do this. You're welcome, DJ. Thanks for hanging out. Michael says, found me for the first time today. Now you're hooked. I had goosebumps from you saying that. But it means a lot to me. Because I'm not for most people. With that said, most people probably aren't for me. But the information I'm sharing is for everybody. Just most aren't open to it or wanting it. They just want, tell me my bag is gonna pump. Tell me my bag's gonna pump. Oh, you're not into my coin? Well, you're wrong, sir. It's so weird. It's so weird, but it's true, and you know it. So I appreciate it when someone, especially when someone like finds me for the first time, and then they're like, what the fuck is this? Because I am different than most. I'm not for everybody, but those I'm for, I'm definitely for. I'm me. I'm fucking me. I don't know. And I'm kind of harsh. I'm kind of rough around the edges. I'm not here to say nice things or massage your backs, and, you know, give you kittens. I'm here because, like, the markets are brutal. They don't care about your emotions. I take that back. They do care about your emotions. They care about making them awful and inflicting pain on you and bringing out those emotions. That's what the market wants to do to you. And most people walk around oblivious to that. These markets want to give you pain and take your money. They're not your friend at all. So, as odd as it sounds, you need to not participate in those games. You need to just find the highest quality assets and be patient. Really not do much at all. And be a sniper. Like, just sit lying and waiting for days, for weeks if you must. Well, years if you must. Before that perfect high value shot comes up. And when that high value shot comes up, it's going to be the most terrifying moment of your entire wait. Because the environment is going to be bombs dropping everywhere, missiles flying, bullets flying, grenades going off. It's going to be terrifying. But you got to keep your composure and take that high value shot to win the war. You've been waiting all that time. Most people won't take the shot, they'll just hide. So that's why you got to know when that moment comes up. When that big fat beach ball comes at you for you to smoke out of the park, that big fat perfect pitch. And it's not waiting for perfect because you're a procrastinator. It's waiting for perfect because you're disciplined and patient. So when the scary moment comes, scary to most people, you're ready to take the shot, take the swing. Because you've been waiting for this. You know, you've envisioned it. I will, Tyler. I will. I will definitely, on my streams, I will offer it. I will make it well known. But it won't be free. I don't give stuff away for free because it's useless if you give stuff away for free. Because if people don't pay for something, if they don't invest in something, they're not going to pay any attention or spend any of their time on it, even if it's good, even if it's valuable. But something funny about us, when we spend money on something, we tend to give it a lot more attention and time and prioritization if we've actually spent money on it. I can give you the DeFi course for free. Most people would never even open it. And even if they would, they'd kind of look around and not get the most out of it at all. But if someone spent money on it, in reality, the more money they spent on it, the more time and attention they're going to give it. So I hope that makes sense. I'll pay right now. You don't have to. You know, I mean, off the top of my head, because I'm thinking about how can I get people to like get the most value out of stuff when I make stuff like that. What I might do is I might technically give it away free if someone joins my paid private Discord. Yeah, maybe I'll give it away as like a big welcome bonus for people to join my paid private Discord, which is also extremely beneficial. It's not open right now. The Discord's not open right now. There's no openings at the moment. But Yeah, 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 because that would be really valuable to be around people like that, more serious people. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna record that DeFi course, and I'll probably give it away as a welcome bonus for people that join the Discord as an incentive to get away from the noisy, I don't know, to just go be around a higher level of people. Which means I'll have to open up some doors. Let's see here. Because that also shows, like, you know, when people pay to be in a Discord or pay to be in a group or a member of something, like, they identify themselves as like a higher quality, in this case, a higher quality investor, like a more serious investor, a more motivated investor, you know, like I find, even with myself, this is when I first noticed it. It's like I used to just be like, oh, I just get things for free and I wouldn't pay for anything. And then several years went by and I'm like, why have I not made any progress? This was in my like digital marketing career. And I'm like, I just don't feel like I'm making progress. And then one day this guy, Russell Brunson, who's awesome, gave a presentation and then made a pitch for this thing that cost like, I don't remember, like $1,000 or something. And I'm like, I'm gonna fucking buy it. And I don't know if I've ever gotten anything more out of that than I've ever gotten out of anything. And I guarantee if he'd given it to me for free, I would have barely used it. I wouldn't have maximized its potential at all, and I probably would have just stayed stuck. But when I finally spent money on it, like $1,000, which was a lot of money to me then, which means I like really wanted to get my way more than my money's worth out of it, so I really put in the time and attention. I mean, that catapulted my digital marketing business. I mean, it wasn't even really a business before that. It was like a thing I kind of shittily did. But then after that, like, I really leveled up. And it was because I paid for it. If he'd given it to me for free, it wouldn't have made much of an impact on me at all. But yeah, I don't know where that came from. Just kind of remember that. That was like, I remember when it was. It was like October of 2014. So remember, I just got back from Disney World. First time I'd ever gone to Disney World, which, something about me, my partner and I, her and I, we love going to fucking Disney parks and Universal parks. Love it. Love it. Love it. Drop some questions in here. I mean, I kind of got a little bit of time left in this room. Apparently I'm feeling chatty. Drop a question in here. Or a thought. About anything. Don't shill a coin though. Don't shill a coin. So to sum up today, we looked at what I kind of refer to as my dashboard or my instrument panel, which maybe I'll put together a PDF on that or something, or a video. Because there's just like, when you're like, think of a pilot stepping into the cockpit and there's all kinds of gauges on their instrument panel and they go through and check every single one of them, and all together that gives them an idea of the environment and conditions and stuff like that. That's why I call it the instrument panel, because there's just a number of different charts and pieces of data that I look at and check regularly to help me gauge where we're at, what the environment is like, what's going on, you know? And right now, you know, it looks like we're coming up to some resistance, but we're tapping this particular line with Bitcoin. See this little line right here? So this is the 2021 bull market, tapped it, and then we tapped it. So we're coming up on it for the fourth time. Funny thing about a line, it's kind of like a door, like a locked door. You know, the more times you ram into it, every next time you ram into it, the more likely it is to give. It's the way it is with trend lines too. The more you, this is the fourth time giving it a big push, that's a lot. So I think that door is about to give. On this particular move, maybe not. Maybe we have to pull back a little bit to get a little bit of momentum to bust through the final time. But after we do that, it should be coming up to this line. And I think that I think probabilities are solid, guaranteed, absolutely not, but solid to come up here by the end of the year, which again, as I was talking about before, would put Bitcoin around, we'll say 240, and if it comes up here to this line, 320, somewhere between 240 and 320, which may seem nuts with Bitcoin being, 118 right now. But if you've been around for a little bit, doesn't $118,000 Bitcoin seem fucking nuts? The Bitcoin conference experience. Oh, interesting hearing your thoughts on it, most impactful. I probably won't go again. What I'll say is it used to be more like crypto punky, you know what I mean? Like more, but now it's like it's more professional and like really much more like professional booths and stuff, which is good and fine. I'm not saying, hey, I want crypto punk stuff. It's like whatever, but it's more sterilized now and more, it feels more like a bit more like although I've never been to one, this is kind of what I would picture. It feels more like a bit cooler of a traditional finance conference. That's what it felt like to me. So it's, and I would say the average age at this last one compared to even a year or two before it went up 5 to 10 years older, which just shows me that Bitcoin post ETFs, because this is the first, no, it was the second conference post ETFs, excuse me, has just matured and been more accepted by an older, more established demographic and certain wealth level. I mean, we had the president, potential president there in Nashville in last year, who became the president, and then this year we had the vice president and Michael Saylor and the president's sons. Like, for me though, like I wouldn't go again. I probably won't go again, even though I got to go for free because I got a press pass. And I'd actually never been to Vegas because I'm just not, well, when I did drink, I probably would have killed myself there, but now that I don't, I could actually see more of the shows and the kind of theme parkness of it, which I like theme parks a lot. But I probably would, although it will be in Vegas again next year, but I probably won't go. Maybe I will. I don't know. But I may spend less time at the conference and more time exploring Vegas. But I don't drink, I used to, but I don't anymore. I haven't drank for about probably over 4 years now. Like maybe 4 years to like the day, roughly. I don't keep count. I just know roughly when I stopped drinking, when like I had that moment of like, life is better without alcohol than with it. But it wasn't like a rock bottom. Like I didn't like do something crazy or something. I had COVID. And so I didn't drink for like a month because I was like sick for like a whole month. And I kind of like detoxed. And during all of that sickness, I was like, I don't know, something just clicked for me. Where I'm like, life's better without it. But I probably, it's not something to go deeply out of your way for, I don't think. Because you can fucking watch it streamed online if you want. But I felt like the people there were more like, mostly miners were by far the dominant booth and stuff like that. So there's a lot of people trying to get business. And I'm not so interested in that. I'm more interested in getting the vibe and temperature check. And that's when I started hearing about Bitcoin treasury companies. I'm like, the fuck? So you're an organization that all you do is buy Bitcoin? Why is anyone giving you money? And I've realized why is because if you give your Bitcoin to a Bitcoin treasury company, they give you stock in exchange, and you don't sell your Bitcoin. But an interesting thing is that when they give you that stock, it's worth more than the Bitcoin you gave them. So you can just like sell it. And for a while there, you could sell it for a fuckload more. And now they're doing that with Ethereum. Oh, that seems to be cooling. You just never know. And I do think that these treasury companies are going to be probably the most impactful factor in the next big cyclical drop in Bitcoin. I mean, this type of thing, like, right, boom, boom, right? This was the Luna collapse and the FTX collapse. I think these treasury companies will create a big problem because they'll misuse the funds and get liquidated and shit like that, just like Three Arrows and Luna and FTX did back here, and Voyager and Celsius, Jesus, and God knows who else, BlockFi. I think that they'll be the next version of that. I think these treasury companies will be the next version of like FTX and Luna. Maybe not to the same degree, but yeah, but we're still ways away from that. That's just that's kind of my gut. It just feels fishy. It feels like fancy, finagled, leveraged finance, and leverage basically eventually always gets liquidated. What's your view on Cardano? It's not something I'm buying, but I expect it to appreciate in value, but it doesn't fit it doesn't fit into my investment bucket, but it'll probably appreciate, just like with everything else. But its value compared to its, we'll say, fundamentals and revenues and usage and every fucking metric you can think of doesn't make sense. Not that crypto has to make sense, because XRP is the most like glaring, blaring, flaring, whatever you want to rhyme with, example of how price of something is not a good determinant of its actual value, because things can be priced way above their value. But then maybe I just don't understand the value. I don't understand the real world value. I just don't see it at all. It doesn't make any sense dollars wise. But other than Bitcoin, there's not a stronger cult than XRP. And I don't say that as a compliment or a diss, just as an observation. And Cardano certainly is one of the strongest cults. Again, I don't mean that insultingly or complimentary, just as an observation. And that's what really props up the price, is members, I guess. Do you think Litecoin is underrated? Kind of. Kind of do. Because no one cares about Litecoin. And I don't think it's particularly, but in terms of if someone preferred to do proof of work blockchain, that or Caspa would probably be the choice, but Litecoin's probably more decentralized and it certainly has more history. So actually, yeah, I don't think it's going to have some massive explosion in price, but I actually think like over time, I think Litecoin can be one of those things that like is a decent store of value. It doesn't get you rich or really like outperform a lot of things, but I think it has less volatility with an upward bias. I just talked about XRP. Thoughts on ICP and Filecoin? You know, they have a good use case example. I'm just out. For me, it's like Bitcoin, Solana, and then premium meme coins on Ethereum and Solana. Like that's where my jam is. That's where my jam is. That's not where most of you should be. I mean, when I say meme coins, like I'm really looking at cults, right? When I say XRP and Cardano are cults, like I don't mean that negatively. I just mean it as an observation. And so Bitcoin's a cult. Bitcoin's the original crypto cult. Yeah. So meme coins, I think, are like more niched cults, more like specific niched cults. You know, Pepe is the most emergent meme coin cult, which are culture coins communities. And I think there's still a really good chance Pepe ends up flipping SHIB to become the number one meme coin on Ethereum. Number 2 overall behind Doge. And then on Solana, I think Bonk is the number one and going to stay forever, the number one meme coin on Solana. Although I don't have any Bonk. For some reason, I know this and I say this, but for some reason, when Bonk becomes a great value, I seem to fucking forget it at the bottoms. Twice I've done that. I just forgot that it existed, which is ridiculous. But for me, the interesting thing about Pepe, I didn't order the Solana Seeker. I kept meaning to do the pre-order for the Saga 2. Is the Saga 2, did they just change the name to Seeker? But I kept putting off and forgetting to order the Saga 2, which I think is what the Seeker is now. Or maybe the Seeker's something different. I guess I don't know. But no, I didn't. But for me, the interesting thing about Pepe, it is a second phone. So I think I did just change the name from the Saga 2 to the Seeker. Can I tell you when will the bear market begin? Oh. I mean, you might as well ask me, what are this week's lottery numbers going to be? Like, no one can answer that. I'm just going to close that one for you. Like, never answer that. Never ask that question again, because it's not going to help you. It's probably going to hurt you seeking answers to unanswerable questions like that. I don't mean that insultingly or anything. I'm just trying to give you a moment of like realization. Price predictions, when will the bear market begin, stuff like that. Like, they do a lot more harm for you than good. I swear it, I promise. The quality of the questions we ask largely determine our outcomes. And I've asked those questions. Many people have asked those questions. I promise you, they're low quality questions and they lead to a lot more harm than good. Toshi and Floki, good potential? Maybe. Yeah, probably. They're good cults. Floki has been around quite a while, since the last bull market. It got flipped by Pepe pretty handedly. Toshi, sure, I'd say Toshi is, other than Brett, I mean, Toshi's the second highest quality meme community cult on base. But for me, like, I've just settled in with, on ETH, since I'm like, well, Pepe is like the most sure shot. The interesting thing about Pepe is he's got a group of buddies. It's referred to as the Boys Club. Let me know if you've ever heard of the Boys Club. Or if you haven't, either way, please just let me know. Get rid of this scar. Brett getting listed on Coinbase matter of time? Probably. But when it does, and take this from my experience, there will probably be a massive sell into it. Don't worry about if it goes higher. Probabilities heavily favor, in all my experience, to sell once, especially something with as much like desire and built up anticipation and pressure that, because how long have people wanted Brett to get on Coinbase? So that pressure and that tension has been building. And when it finally gets listed on Coinbase, and you got to sell into it. And it's going to happen fast. Like 24 to 48 hours, you got to sell into it. Not like the moment it gets listed, but probably like that day, which will probably also be a signal to just sell all of the Boys Club, which brings me back to the Boys Club. Pepe, I think, will eventually be the highest value meme coin on Ethereum. It's number 2 right now. Very close to number 1. And then Brett is on base. Brett is a member of the Boys Club from Matt Fury's books, a book called The Boys Club, which was 4 characters: Pepe, Brett, Andy, and Landwolf. Other than Brett, Pepe, Andy, and Landwolf are all on Ethereum. So now I introduce, if Pepe is going to go up, they're all going to go up. But the thing is that they're not all going to go up the same amount. So if I'm certain Pepe is going to go up, how can I get the biggest return from Pepe going up? Is it being in Pepe? Probably not. But being in Pepe is going to get me a better return than Ethereum. If Ethereum goes up, Pepe is going to go up even more. This is the concept of beta. Ethereum in this case would be the alpha. And so it's beta, things that go up just because it goes up. If Ethereum goes up, then everything basically on Ethereum is going to go up with it. And typically, everything else is going to go up more percentage-wise than Ethereum. So if Ethereum is going to go up, Pepe is going to go up. If Pepe is going to go up, Brett's going to go up. If they're going to go up, Andy and Landwolf are going to go up. So as I go down each spot, I'm going deeper and deeper beta. Really, Ethereum goes up. If I buy Pepe, what I'm doing is buying leveraged Ethereum. If I buy Brett, I'm kind of buying leveraged Pepe. If I buy Andy or Landwolf, I'm buying higher leveraged Pepe. Really, all of them, I'm just buying higher amounts of leverage on Ethereum. Meaning that, like if ETH goes up 2x, Pepe's probably going to go up 4. Brett's probably going to go up 5 or 6. Andy's probably going to go up 8 to 10, and Landwolf's probably going to go up like 10 to 12. And I've watched this repeat over and over and over the last year, because that's how longer really most of them have been around, other than Pepe. So I buy Landwolf because I expect Ethereum to go up, and I expect Pepe to go up. So I just buy the most leveraged Ethereum I can, and it removes the downside of being liquidated. So really, when I look at Landwolf, it's like 10 to 12x leveraged Ethereum. So if Ethereum is going to do a 2x, I mean, Landwolf is probably going to do a 10 to 20x. And I've watched it, right? And there were a lot of Landwolves, and I identified the one that I was pretty certain was going to be the winning Landwolf. And I'd come on here, and I'd tell everybody, well, on TikTok, I'd tell everybody, I go, listen, Boys Club, yeah, and I go, I'm in this one Landwolf, and everyone would say, Landwolf on Solana? I go, no. They're like, well, you're wrong, that's the winner. And I'm like, it doesn't make any sense, because Pepe's on ETH, Brett's on Base, which is an Ethereum layer 2, the clear winning Andy is also on Ethereum, so why the fuck would Landwolf be on Solana? They're roommates, they should all live in the same place, Ethereum. No, man, it's Solana. Really, they're just biased because of their bags. And I'd run through all of that. Plus, like, contract addresses, if you know what those are, Pepe's contract address starts with 0x69. Andy's contract address starts with 0x68. Guess what Landwolf's starts with? 0x67. So we got 69, 68, 67. And I was laying that case out. The Landwolf 0x67 at that time, by the way, was like 10 to 15 million dollar market cap. And the Solana one was like 150. And I'm like, my Landwolf is going to end up flipping your Landwolf, and your Landwolf is going to go to dust. And I didn't say that being cocky or anything. I'm like, I've just been around too long. This is how it's probably going to play out. And that's exactly how it played out. Landwolf Solana went to dust. Eventually 0x67 flipped it and went from 10 million to 250 million in December. I made a lot of money. And very few people would even listen to my very logical case because they were just being so emotional. But some did. And some thanked me later, like, holy shit, I'm so glad I listened to you. I'm not always right. But listen, when I lay out a case, to just throw it out and shit on it is foolish. When anyone has a real case and you won't even consider it, and they lay out all the data and everything like that, if you won't consider it, you're an idiot. You don't have to do it. You don't have to agree with it, but you just shit on it and throw it out because it doesn't fit your current desire. It's gonna burn you way more than not. And my private Discord group, guess how many of them bought Landwolf? All of them. Guess how many of them made money? All of them. Not that we win on everything. So, Landwolf is in terms of current value, probably my second most valuable position in terms of dollar value at the moment. My first is actually on Solana. And largely, it's my most valuable because I bought it even cheaper in this last big drop this year in April. My phone's gonna die here soon, so I should probably hop off. Yeah, my phone is very low battery. Holy shit. But I'd also say my Solana play is more risky, but it has more upside than Landwolf. But with that being said, Landwolf's upside is incredible. I think I gotta pop out of here. All right, y'all, be sure to follow me. I may just start the live, next time I go live, I may just start it right here on YouTube. So be sure to turn on notifications so you get notified. If you haven't hit that follow button yet, I mean, Jesus Christ, you even wanna, and you're hanging out with me and you like what I'm saying, like, and you haven't hit the follow button, like, something's not connecting in here if that's the case. All right, y'all, I'm heading out. Till next time.